everybody, it's Mia with TMBH. Today is April 12th, and we're just going to talk a little bit about today, just our centers here, and kind of a little light run through of what you can expect if you were to come to one of our centers. So really, the first thing that we do with everybody is detox. That's a really big thing, and that comes from Dr. B. She wants everybody to go through detox. Obviously, the amount of time that you spend in detox is going to be adjusted to what you need. We have certain people who may need to spend upwards to a month in detox, whereas you have other people who can go fine with just a few days, a week, 2 weeks. So the range, just again, it depends person per person. And what we do at TMBH is everything is very individualized. It's not like we just have this kind of track for everybody to follow and like everybody does the same thing. We have techniques that we use, like a whole bunch of different kind of tools in our belt, but instead of just kind of throwing every tool at everybody, we look at the individual situation and decide what tool is kind of best to use or what tools would be best to use to assist us with that particular person. And so it's the same thing when you come into detox. It's not going to be that, okay, everybody just spends a month in detox, because if you only need to spend a week in detox, then you're going to be wasting a lot of time in detox that you don't need if they made you spend a mandatory month there. And you could just have been getting the therapy that you needed and just continuing on with the treatment that you needed. And you might actually end up being agitated that you're like spending this like longer process and this thing and not actually getting into what you need to get into. Whereas somebody else, for example, if everyone was like, oh, we're just going to take a week for detox, and somebody needed a month of detox, then they might be going into therapy with, they're not fully withdrawn from not the medications, but from the substances. And so you have like a person who is maybe a bit more agitated or not in the right mind frame because they're still trying to get rid of the toxins that are in their body, and that's the reason why Dr. B is really big on making sure that everybody goes through the detox process that's appropriate for them before ever like really starting to get into treatment, because we don't want you going into treatment while you're still kind of battling getting out these toxins and you're not necessarily fully yourself yet, or not fully, because you're still, even in treatment, you work on getting to that point where you're more fully yourself. But detox gets you to a point where you're not emotionally unstable as much, because you can be, before, like, when you're dope sick, you're very unstable. It's obvious. I think it's hard to explain, but like anybody who's been in a position where I guess you've been dope sick before, like that's not the time to like have a deep conversation and let's figure out why you are addicted to substances and how to get you off. Like, you need to focus on not feeling that way first. And so that's why we do detox first. So then after that, you're going to come into like our residential treatment center, and you're in like, they're actually cute little houses depending like on where you stay. Like there's some in California, Arizona, Florida. I'm not missing a state. I don't know. Maybe. We'll fix it. But we have like those different centers, and you'll stay in one of those, and you'll stay with people who have gone through the same thing that you're going through, essentially, or very similar struggles. And you guys basically just stay in a house together, you live together, you go to therapy together, and you're just spending time working on learning about yourselves together, learning about what caused your addiction, like what's rooting at the addiction. You're going to be doing group therapy, you'll do individualized therapy. But the reason that it can be so difficult for like me to get into specifics with you guys is because, like I said, it is very individualized. So there's no one way that I can tell you it's going to go for you. It's going to depend on who you are and what you need. There's no just like, oh, and this is the experience you're going to have. Like, depending on who you are and what you need, you're going to experience different amounts of group therapy or individualized sessions, and maybe doing different types of therapeutic things, whether or not you're working with, I don't know, animals or music or whatever it is that you're doing. Like, it's different for everybody. And that's very important. We incorporate the family, which is also something that's really important for us, because what what's the point if you've gone to rehab and like now you've worked out all your issues and you're all fine and dandy, and now you're going back to your family which hasn't worked out the issues kind of that were left behind before, you know? They don't know if they're welcoming a new person or the same person. So them going to therapy kind of helps them to like be prepared for what to expect, be able to let go of maybe some of the hostility that they might be holding from the time period in which case you were kind of doing things while under the influence of substances or alcohol. So family therapy is really important because, again, there's a lot of issues even within that if they're unresolved, when you go back home to your family, if they're still treating you like the same person or things are kind of the same still, then you might be more likely to fall into some of the same patterns. So yeah, that was just kind of a little bit of a run through of what you're going to hear in our daily video, which we link you guys to at the end of this video. Check out that daily video. That one has Dr. B talking in it. And again, Dr. B is really awesome. She gives like a majority of our medical, our medical approach, like kind of advice and letting us know how to handle addiction from like a medical point of view and how we can best serve our clients. So yeah, check out that video and she'll explain it better than I do. That's her job. So yeah, check her out and it's going to be awesome. So I will see you guys here again tomorrow on April 13th.